My wife thought I'd never discover her affair. She was wrong. The first sign that my wife was cheating on me wasn't a lipstick stain. It wasn't a strange text. It wasn't even the late nights. It was the way she suddenly started locking her phone. And the night I finally found out who she was hiding, I realized the woman sleeping beside me every night had been living an entirely different life behind my back. My name is Daniel. I was 38, married to my wife Emily for almost 9 years. We had a house in Ohio, 2 cars in the driveway, a dog that thought Emily was the center of the universe, and what I believed was a pretty normal marriage. At least that's what I believed. Emily and I weren't perfect. We argued about money. We disagreed about vacations. Sometimes we'd go an entire evening barely speaking because one of us was too stubborn to apologize first. But I never thought she would cheat. Emily was the person I trusted more than anyone. So when things started changing, I didn't immediately suspect an affair. I blamed work. Emily had recently been promoted at her company, and suddenly she was spending more time at the office. She started coming home later. Then came the business dinners. Then the weekend meetings. And every time I asked if everything was okay, she'd smile and say the same thing. "Daniel, I'm just busy, that's all." I wanted to believe her. So I did. Until one Thursday night. It was almost midnight when she came home. I was sitting on the couch watching TV when she walked through the front door. She looked exhausted, but something else caught my attention. She was smiling. Not the tired smile she gave me. A real smile. The kind I hadn't seen from her in months. "Good night," she said, walking past me. I looked at her. "Who were you texting?" Her smile disappeared. "No one." She immediately put her phone face down on the kitchen counter. That tiny movement stayed in my head. "Emily." "What?" "Who were you texting?" She stared at me for a second. Then she laughed. "Seriously, you're interrogating me now. I'm asking a question. And I'm telling you it was nobody important." Nobody important. Those 3 words bothered me more than they should have. Because people don't usually hide nobody important. But I didn't push it. Not that night. A few days later, I noticed another strange thing. Emily had changed her phone password. We'd never had separate passwords before. We knew each other's phones. It wasn't about controlling each other. It was just how we'd always been. When I asked why she changed it, she shrugged. "Work stuff." I nodded. But deep down, something had shifted. I started noticing things I had previously ignored. She suddenly cared a lot more about how she looked before leaving the house. She bought new clothes, started wearing perfume to work. And one morning, she stood in front of the mirror for almost 20 minutes before leaving. I watched her from the bedroom doorway. "You look great." She smiled. "Thanks." Then she picked up her purse and left. I stood there wondering. Who was she trying to impress? 2 weeks later, I found the first real clue. I was cleaning out the glove compartment of her car because she had asked me to find an insurance document. Under a stack of receipts, I found a restaurant receipt. It was from a place downtown. 2 entrees, 2 glasses of wine, and a date. The date was a Tuesday. Emily had told me she was working late that night. I stared at the receipt for almost a full minute. Then I noticed something written on the back. A name. Mark. I knew Mark. At least I thought I did. Mark was Emily's new department manager. I'd met him once at a company Christmas party. Friendly guy. Confident. Always making jokes. And apparently, someone my wife had been having dinner with while telling me she was working. I confronted her that night. I placed the receipt on the kitchen table. "Who's Mark?" Emily looked at it. For half a second her face changed. Then she recovered. "He's my manager." "Why were you having dinner with him?" "Because we were discussing a project." "At a restaurant?" "Yes." 2 glasses of wine. She sighed. "Daniel, seriously." I looked at her. "Did you sleep with him?" Silence. 5 seconds. 10. She finally looked away. "No." 1 word. "No." I wanted to believe it. God, I wanted to. So I did something stupid. I apologized. I told her I was sorry for accusing her. She hugged me. And for the first time in weeks, I felt relieved. But that relief lasted exactly 3 days. Because on Sunday morning, I woke up before Emily. She was asleep beside me. Her phone was charging on the nightstand. Then it buzzed. 1 notification appeared. I didn't touch the phone. I didn't unlock it. I didn't need to. The message preview said, "I missed last night already." My stomach dropped. The sender was Mark. I stared at the screen. Then I looked at my wife. She was still sleeping. For almost 9 years, I'd trusted this woman with my entire life. And in that moment, I realized I didn't know her at all. I could have woken her up. I could have screamed. I could have demanded answers. But instead, I did something completely different. I took a screenshot of the notification. Then I put her phone back exactly where it had been. I went downstairs. And I waited. Emily came down about 20 minutes later. She walked into the kitchen like nothing had happened. "Morning." I looked at her. "Morning." She poured herself coffee. I didn't say anything. Because suddenly, I wasn't interested in hearing another lie. I wanted the truth. All of it. Over the next week, I quietly documented everything I could. The messages that appeared on shared devices. The unexplained expenses. The restaurant receipts. The dates she said she was working. I wasn't trying to become some kind of detective. I just needed to know how deep the betrayal went. Then, on Friday night, Emily told me she had another work dinner. I simply said, "Okay." After she left, I sat in my car. And I followed her. She didn't go to her office. She drove to a small hotel about 20 minutes outside downtown. My hands were shaking on the steering wheel. I watched her park. A few minutes later, Mark's car pulled in. I sat there in silence. For nearly an hour. I could have walked inside. I could have caused a scene. Instead, I drove home. Because I finally understood something. The affair wasn't the only betrayal. The real betrayal was that she had looked me in the eyes every day and made me question my own instincts. She had convinced me that I was paranoid, jealous, insecure, when she was the one lying. The next morning, I packed a suitcase. Emily came into the bedroom and froze. "What are you doing?" "I'm leaving." Her face went pale. "Daniel, I know about Mark." She stopped breathing for a second. Then she started crying. "It isn't what you think." I almost laughed. "That's what you said about the restaurant." She sat on the edge of the bed. "It started as friendship." I said nothing. Then we got close. Still nothing. And then it just happened. I finally looked at her. "No, Emily." She wiped her tears. "What?" "It didn't just happen." She stared at me. "You made choices." That sentence destroyed whatever defense she had left. She admitted the affair had been going on for almost 6 months. 6 months. While I was worrying about her. While I was buying groceries. While I was planning our anniversary. While I was sleeping beside her. 6 months. Then she said something I will never forget. "Daniel, I never planned to leave you." I looked at her, and somehow that hurt more than everything else. Because she wasn't saying she was sorry. She was saying she wanted both lives. Me and him. I filed for divorce 2 months later. Emily tried everything. Counseling. Apologies. Long messages at midnight. She even told me Mark had ended things with her, and that she finally realized what she had lost. But by then, something inside me had changed. I didn't hate her. I didn't want revenge. I just stopped wanting the life we had built together. Months later, our divorce was finalized. I moved into a small apartment. I adopted another dog. I started running again. I reconnected with friends I'd ignored for years. And slowly, I became happy. One evening, almost a year after I discovered the affair, I received a message from Emily. It said, "Do you ever think about us?" I stared at it for a long time. Then I typed one sentence. "I think about who I was before I knew the truth." I never replied again. And here's the strange part. For months, I thought discovering her affair had destroyed my life. But eventually, I realized it had done something else. It had ended a life that was built on a lie. And sometimes, the most painful truth is still better than the most comfortable lie. Because when someone cheats on you, they don't just betray your relationship. They make you question your judgment, your memories, even yourself. But don't let someone else's dishonesty convince you that your instincts were worthless. Sometimes your heart notices the truth long before your mind is ready to accept it. And when the truth finally comes out, you have a choice. You can spend the rest of your life asking why they did it. Or you can ask yourself something much more important. What kind of life do I want now that I know the truth? For me, the answer was simple. A life where I never have to wonder who is lying beside me again.